brought your favorite beverage, and she brought the career advice. Now sit back and relax while you get advice that will take you to the next destination in your career or business. And now, Katrina Brittingham. Hello, hello, hello. It is Katrina Brittingham and her handsome co-host, Dr. The Real Deal Love, here for you today. And we are talking about tips for success for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and seasoned entrepreneurs, because it doesn't matter where you are in your entrepreneurship journey, there are always things that you can learn to help you be more successful.
Absolutely.
So we both know this. We both entrepreneurs. We're both learning every day, um,
Always.
as we go along, from colleagues, from even from each other. Doing this show, I learned so much, um, and if you keep learning, you can keep evolving and growing, and that's what this is all about, to help you evolve and to grow into the success that you want to be. We've already talked about how success is relative. My
Mm-hmm.
success will not necessarily be your success, or what success looks like to me may not be what success looks like to you. But this is to help you and give you tools and tidbits to help you get to your level of success. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is challenge yourself. When you're in this entrepreneurial journey, you always want to challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to get stuck in the same old, same old. Why? Because things are constantly changing. All right. And so um, the biggest motivation is to keep challenging yourself. Everything is a challenge. Even with this and this show and this network, I'm challenging myself to do some things that I have not done before,
Mm-hmm.
and is yielding some amazing results for me. Things constantly blow my mind, because I never would have expected to be where I am. And sometimes you can start out as an entrepreneur going in there with the goal, which you should. But when you watch your dream outgrow even what you imagined, is always an awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can treat yourself to professional development, where you can learn a new skill or develop that new skill out, or a skill that you have out. Um, People always talk about, oh, you have all these acronyms, and I have more that could actually even be here, of acronyms. And it was all about challenging myself, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, learning something that I did not know, or further developing something that I already knew.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something for that, Dr. Love?
No, I thought that was really good to do something that you've not done before. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because they say, uh, if you've done what you've never done, if you go where you've never gone, you will have what you've never had.
Exactly.
So as you said before, to challenge yourself, is this the best way? Am I doing it the best way? Because if you ask yourself that question, am I doing it the best way? You can always better your best. So I think that was a great start.
Yes. And that leads to number two. Number one is not hard to challenge yourself when you're doing work that you care about.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I found for myself and for other people around you. I mean, we all know those people who just come in and they collect a paycheck. They don't really care about the work they do. They just care about getting paid. And yes, we all want to get paid. I mean, money makes the world go around. It
Yes.
just does. But when I did something that I really cared about, that I was really passionate about, I didn't think about, oh, I have to pay this $1,000 or $2,000 or more to get the education that I needed to go further. It was a desire to me. It was considered for me an investment
Mm-hmm.
in my growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do something that you care about, if you're running a business is challenging in itself. It comes with days where you're excited. It comes to days where it seems like nothing goes right. It comes with days where you're wondering if you're going to get a client, and it comes with days where you have a whole bunch of clients. So you have to have something that you really truly care about. And this show, helping entrepreneurs, was something that I really cared about. When I first started out, I was doing career coaching for people that were in transition. It was something that I really cared about. When you do what you really care about, it helps carry you through those days that may not be going exactly according to plan for you.
Hmm.
It helps you to break out of your comfort zone to learn things. It helps you to break out of your comfort zone to do a show, to speak in front of a whole bunch of people, because you really care about it, you're really passionate about it. And guess what? People see that and they're drawn to that. If you, case in point, you go to Walmart and you're shopping and you come up to somebody that you're checking out with, and you can tell they don't like the job, it affects you.
Oh
Then it's
yes.
like, I don't want to go to that person anymore. Like, a lot of people go to self checkout because they don't want to deal with grumpy workers,
Right. That's right.
um,
That
and
negative
everything like
energy.
that.
Mm.
So it's just like these things have an effect, and it'll help you attract who you're supposed to attract as well. I heard you giving feedback. So
Yes, that negative energy, dealing with all the negative energy, because the whole gist of it is, like you said, to do something that you love to do causes you to always want to improve and get better. And this network, one of the things that is so important is to join organizations, to be a part of networks. That I can't stress that enough, just to be connected with other organizations and other people, because it helps pull you along. And we all, at some point, need to be pulled along and encouraged along, because you have those dark days, you have those tough times in business. But being a part, somebody will say, I've been where you're at, and you'll make it through. Just hearing that and knowing that makes things so much better.
and that's so true. I tell people, when I first started out, the first thing I did was join an association, because I was like, okay, these people have been there, done that. They know what they're talking about. They've been in my boat, and
Mm-hmm.
it made a big difference. I mean, I have lifelong friends, and lifelong colleagues from joining the association, and being a part of it. And as you get involved in it, um, number one, it shows people that, number one, you're dedicated, your colleagues as well, and they will begin to show you, excuse me. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They will begin to show, they will begin to share with you, because they see that you're serious. Because in every business, in every industry, you have people come in and they flood in, but you don't have too many people who have that staying power.
Mm-hmm.
And so it shows that you have that staying power. It shows that you are dedicated to your craft. Going to associations actually brings work, because you'll have people who can refer you. It gives you an opportunity to speak, on your topic, for conferences and things like that. And you'll be with your colleagues, people who are rooting you on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's places where you can get certifications a lot of times, or they can direct you on where to get certifications. I literally had people who were making millions of dollars pour into me. One of my mentors, who actually helped me and sent me a lot of clients in the beginning, and actually sat there and mentored me, um, was making millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself honored, because he was like, look, you're dedicated, you're doing this, and would give me that constructive criticism that launched me to where I ended up being. Um, the first He was the first contract that I had, subcontract, and it led to many others. I was about to say four others, but I got four others under him, but it led to others.
Yes.
And even to the day, like, people were like, how do you do this? It was something that he poured into me. And I worked with him until he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I counted that as an honor because he did not take many people under his wing. He took people under his wing, but not many.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to be one of them, and for him to see something in me, and that's where you'll see you never know who's in the room with you. You know, it was people at all stages of their business, and this was someone who had been in the business for years and had established himself. I mean, had clients pouring in, you know, to his business. And he
Mm-hmm.
taught me how to handle customers, how to handle great customers and not so great customers,
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that, and just how to polish up my professionalism, you know, when it came to that. So that's very important. And that leads to number three is take the risk. Because a lot of times people don't want to take the risk for associations because associations, many times, 9 times out of 10, come with a cost. But that cost is worth it. It's an investment in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I had never taken that risk, I would have never met my mentor. I would have never met the friends and colleagues who we refer business to one another. Um, you know, and just meeting fabulous, wonderful people with the same passion and desire that I had to help people get to where they needed to be in their careers, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur, whether you work for someone else in a corporation. You know, it my passion was to help people get to where they wanted to be, to their level of success,
Mm-hmm.
because I was in a place where I was stunted in that area, and I saw other people stunted and they really didn't know where to go and what to do. And certain things they don't teach you in regular school, high school, and all of that. They don't teach you this in college, and you have to get that, you know, that knowledge that is not taught to everybody. Because if this stuff was taught there, you would have more people doing
Yes.
those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons for this show. These are things I provide. I'm very transparent about what I my journey in business, my successes as well as my failures, my challenges, because these are the things that happens because life happens.
Mm-hmm.
And no one told me this stuff. No, you know, some, you know, a lot of the stuff that I share, some stuff people did tell me, but most of the stuff, a lot of the stuff where I'm very vulnerable about it, is people did not share this stuff with me,
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. I share with people. Yeah, I came out of corporate, had to go back to corporate, all while running my business, and it doesn't make you a failure. Sometimes you have to take those steps back. You know, I had the situation where I was in the hospital, didn't know if I was coming out, and having to rebuild my business from that while healing, while working for someone else, while working my business.
Yes.
You know, these things, you know, happen. And all of that is about taking a risk, because I could have been like, you know what, let this business go, this many a times. But I took that risk and I stayed in it. And if I hadn't stayed in it, number one, I wouldn't even have the network and this show, because all of that happened prior. I actually like ran into the person who introduced me to this and this platform a year after all of that. And then
Ah.
it's funny, I was just talking to someone about this that I didn't even realize. I've been doing this for 3 years. 4 years ago in June, I was in the hospital and they didn't think I was coming out.
Mm. That's
And then
yeah.
it was the healing process after that. And that's for another show. But because I was like, okay, I'm gonna still step out here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this risk, and do this again and rebuild it. I lost every contract because people didn't know when I was coming out
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and to rebuild myself. And since then there was the rebrand and stepping out into the business coaching. You have to take that risk. Without risk there's no reward.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
um Somebody, I saw this motivational thing, and it was like, okay, taking the risk to do what you want to do is hard. And getting to success is hard, but so is not being successful.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you're going to have a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of taking a risk is at the end, there's a reward.
Yes.
Not taking it, you struggle and there's still no reward. You still stay where you are. So, what choice are you going to make? I'd rather take the risk and go through the hard thing for the reward at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about it like that. Never, when I was taking risks, was not thinking in that mentality. But when you think in that mentality, all right, I'm taking this risk, but at the end is this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, when you're taking those risks. I tell people, when you see people at a certain level of success, even people who seem like they're overnight successes, if you sit down and talk to them, they put in work, sometimes for years behind the scene. I'm an overnight success to the world,
Mm-hmm.
but to me and to my family and to my tribe,
Mm-hmm.
they saw my struggle. They saw that this was not an overnight thing.
Yes, right.
And that's what I try to tell people too. It's not an overnight thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even with me, when certain things happen, it was like, oh my God, you came out of nowhere. Where did you come from? I was like, I was just crying like 2 years ago. Like, I'm not gonna make this.
Yeah.
And everything. People just don't know that even overnight successes had to take the risk, had to put in the work, had to have the hard days, had to wonder where their clients, if they were going to get clients, where their clients were coming from, had to go through the recessions, had to go through COVID before they got to where they came from. They got a lot of no's before they got that one yes.
Mm-hmm.
So take the risk. It's worth it. You never know what the outcome will be. You never know where you will be sitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's that's
Anything to add to that?
Oh yeah, that was so good. You made so many good points. Just jumping in when you talked about overnight. I remember hearing a story where the gentleman said, people said, "Man, you made it overnight." He said, "Yeah, you said overnight." He said, "But for me, it was one long night." It was one long night. So uh, just understanding that, and I need to hear this. Someone out there may need to hear this. But I was at an event, and it was a journal. It was women's journalism, and one of the ladies was an executive at WHYY, and they said, "How did you begin? What did you do? How did all this happen?" And she said, "I really just started out. I really didn't know where I was going or what I was going to do, but I just started on my journey." And getting started, you know what I'm saying? It's the start that stops so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she said, I started, and someone saw in me something I didn't see in myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where the help comes. If you're serious about what you're doing, if you're committed to what you're doing, someone will see something in you that you may not have seen in yourself and come in and aid you and help you in so many different ways. So it'll shorten your night. If you're going to be an overnight success, it'll shorten your night because you'll have people rallying around you to help you and support you because they see in you. And that's what you want. You want people to see in you what it is that they need to see in you to aid you along and help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
going to be so important.
And here's the thing, because as you were talking, scripture was coming to my mind. And I tell people, I was like, people will quote part of a scripture and it loses some of its meaning.
Okay.
People will say, write the vision, make it plain. They stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
But that verse has more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, write the vision,
Mm-hmm.
make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
So those who see it
Mm-hmm.
will run to
Mm-hmm.
perform it.
Mm-hmm.
Not write the vision, make it plain, so you will run to perform it.
Mm-hmm.
It said those who see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why, because I have a lot of people when they come to me for business, I'm like, all right, what's your vision? Write it out to me Give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
They was like, well, that's what I hired you for. No, you hired me to massage it, polish it up so it can look good. But it's not my vision. If I write it, it's my vision.
Mm-hmm.
Write your vision. Where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
Write your mission. What is the overarching goal of your company?
Mm-hmm.
I can polish it up, wordsmith it, and everything like that, but only you can write your vision.
Mm-hmm.
I write it, those that see it run to perform what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
When you write it, they'll run to perform what you wrote. What is your vision?
That's right.
What are you actually taking a risk for? What is the thing that you have to go through your long night for?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because see, when you're going through that long night by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're crying behind closed doors by yourself. You're talking to God or whatever you believe in by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
asking when is this going to come? Give me strength to do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Katrina's not sitting there for with you.
That's right.
But when you have that, and in my longest nights, the first thing that I thought of, I was like, all right, this was the vision. This is what my passion is. This is what I believe you gave me, God. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't say this is what I believe, Sandra gave me or Tony gave me. This is what I believe
Mm-hmm.
this is.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you do it, then people will come along from your business plan and everything like that. But you have to have it in you. Can you articulate it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have to be in a place where before they even get to your business plan, you have to articulate what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How is this going to impact those that you're trying to impact?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your audience? You have to know that. What's your niche? You have to know that. And that goes right into number 4 of believing in yourself. You can only believe in yourself if you know what your vision is.
Mm-hmm.
If you know or have an idea of what your end goal is. Nobody actually knows the fullness or where they would be. If you talk to people that are successful, well, you do have some people. I knew I was going to be here the whole time, and everything. But most people be like, I never in my wildest dreams thought it would turn into this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what it is. So number one, what you believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are you believing in yourself for? And I have a quote from Henry Ford. It says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so, what are you thinking you can do?
What do you think you can do? Yes.
Is it somebody else's vision? Is it something that somebody else told you
Mm-hmm.
your vision was? Or is it your vision?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something? Because many times in my life, I had people tell me what they thought I would be good at.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have even been good at it,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't the thing that got me out of the bed every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm excited to do this program every week. That's why I come on here with a smile. Like, like I'm living my dream
mm-hmm.
without even knowing that it was the dream to begin with, or that it would be part of the dream.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you know me, my family knows me, I was the shyest person in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an introvert. I never would have thought that I would be on a platform like this. I never thought that I would be on an international platform and having people from other countries watch what I'm doing. But that belief that I could do it came because I knew what my vision was,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew what my mission was. And I knew I wanted to be able to impact as many people as possible. And that's where this led to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you believe in yourself and believe in your success, you'll find ways to get over the different obstacles. And again, success is different for different people. You
Mm-hmm.
might be regional, you might be to your city, you might be international, you might be national. If you've impacted one person in what you do, then that's success and that's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody impacts the millions. Some people do, some people don't.
Okay.
And that's what you have to get to. Are you called to the nations? Are you called to, is your purpose to be regional or in the city? There are people who impact their city, have a great impact in their city, and they're no less great than someone who's going to the world
That's very true.
because they're making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
They're making an impact. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who are millionaires in a city. There are people who are wealthy. There are people who make six figures and they're making great impact. There are people who don't make a dime actually and have a great impact
Mm-hmm.
on people. That's what I said. So what is your vision? Some people are nonprofit. Some people work with the community and don't make that much, but they're making that impact. What is that vision?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the quote. I like the quote that you gave about Henry Ford, whether you think you can do a thing or not, you know. And I love that because he didn't say whether you know you can do it. See, you can start off just thinking you can, you know. It's not requiring you to know, you know. It's like the little storybook, the engine. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. If you think you can, that thinking turn into it converts into yes I can
Mm-hmm.
and yes I will. So that's so important to just to get to the point where you understand that the thinking I think I can, and that's what that's what I really subscribe to. I was just thinking about that today. I was supposed to meet with someone today, and I was just thinking about what I was going to share. I wound up not having the meeting. But one of the things I was going to share is that they said the space shuttle, when it launches, they said the space shuttle is off its course 80 to 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 80 to 90% of the time, the space shuttle is off course. The key is it's always in touch with the control tower, which tells it turn or not, tailspin, it guides them along. See, and because it always makes the corrections, I think that fits right into the name, the GPS, the GPS, the show that you have. It's like
Mm-hmm.
once you have somebody actually giving you a course, changing your course of direction, all you got to do is get in flight. And as you're called to change your course of a direction, they said as a result of the space shuttle making the necessary changes, it fails its way to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so we as entrepreneurs, we fail our way to success
Mm-hmm.
because as long as you meet people and come in contact with people, you're going to have somebody turn this way, straighten up this, correct this, do this. As long as you're listenable, as long as you're coachable,
Mm-hmm.
and you're listening, people are going to give you just insight that's going to cause you to make the necessary corrections and changes, and you're going to fail your way to success. Isn't that good?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That you can fail your way right into it. See, we think failure is a bad thing. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is what it's going to take to get you to where you need to go because you're going to make a wrong turn. And if you get
Mm-hmm.
corrected, you're going to get back on course. That's the key
Mm-hmm.
to get back on course. If you fall down, get back up again. Okay. It's not the fall that's the problem. It's you didn't get back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You got to get back up.
That's the key to it. That's the key to it.
Yes.
And
Gotta
and
get.
and for many of us, that's the hardest thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes getting back up means that no one's going to help you up.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have somebody pick you back up. Um, but the reality is sometimes people aren't going to help you up. Sometimes people might kick you back down.
Oh, oh, sometime,
Um,
sometime.
when you're down, like sometimes people will kick you back down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so you have to be able to um pick yourself back up when you have fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do when it feels like you've been had the TKO?
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up and you dizzy from that fall,
Mm.
where it hurts to get up from that fall.
Mm-hmm.
Cause some days it's gonna hurt.
Oh yes.
Some
Oh yes.
days it's gonna hurt to get up from that fall.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you be like, oh my back, oh my neck,
Mm-hmm.
oh I can't breathe. Some days it's gonna hurt to get
Some
up from that fall. But
someday.
is it all goes to what is your vision
Mm-hmm.
and what is that end goal?
Yes.
Is giving up going to help you get to that end goal?
Yes.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to be by yourself and get up by yourself. And the very people that you thought were going to be there to help pick you up are not going to be there.
Sometimes that happens. Absolutely.
I mean, that's the reality.
That's right.
That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the falling down is the fact that people are separating, going their separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this goes to show, see, I have this list, but I don't necessarily go in order. The next one, this number 5, is have a vision. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Having that vision for what your business is. That way you can speak about it. People have what they call, and they still call it that, even though most people are not giving pitches in elevators, and sometimes they still are. Maybe I don't know what's going on with COVID,
uh,
but they have this thing called the elevator pitch.
yes. Yes. Yes.
It is 30 seconds because back in the day, when those elevator doors closed, you had 30 seconds before that elevator door opened back up.
Yes.
And you're in this elevator with someone important. Can you articulate what you do and put such a desire in that person that when those elevator doors open back up, that they want to call you in a meeting?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the whole premise of that elevator pitch.
Yes. I like that. Mm-hmm.
They have it whether you're in your corporate career, and that's where it came from, talking to someone like a CEO, vice president, whatever, about what your idea is or about promotion, whatever, and they took it into business as well.
Mm-hmm.
In 30 seconds, people are very busy, especially right now, even more now than ever. People are busy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have people come to me all the time, and yeah, I got so many things going on in my mind. But let someone come to me with something that catches me.
Yeah.
Now you got my attention.
That's right.
And it's like, who? I need to talk to this person.
Yes.
Even if you don't get the meeting on the spot, it's like, let me give you my card
Yes.
and let's have this conversation. Let's meet for coffee
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
to further discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, I'm on my way to a meeting. Can you get off this elevator? Walk me to this. I want to hear more.
Mm-hmm.
Then I might have to say, once we get to those doors, here's my card. Those different things have happened. And people have talked to me, and it was like, it's like, oh, okay. Thank you for talking. I'm off the elevator. It did not catch me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it could be that I wasn't your audience too,
That's right.
but that's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Can you articulate? Some people have articulated some things to me, and it wasn't for me, but I knew someone they could impact too. And so that's the thing about knowing your vision, knowing your mission. What do you do? And I've asked people that, and it's taken them, they talked to me for 15 minutes. I still didn't know what they did
Okay.
because they didn't have that. And that comes with some training, but it also comes with knowing your vision.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it was funny because I would get up, I teach it and everything. And with one of the associates, they would have do your 30-second pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And people wouldn't do it. Sometimes I would be the first one to break the ice. And then sometimes I would just, after people did it, I would just give mine. And I'm like, how did you do that? So because I know what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my vision is. I know who my audience is. I know who I'm supposed to impact. And I was just like, and yes, what it was in the beginning, I practiced. Now I have it so down pat
Mm-hmm.
that I can just give it to you. And each time it attracted different people.
Mm-hmm.
I gave my 30-second pitch to my co-host when he was trying to be a guest on the show. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you, and not trying to be a guest, he was a guest, he became a guest and everything on the show, and it led to other things.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gave me his pitch. And that I said, and I told him, I got something for you. I said, I don't know when I'm gonna bring you back,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
but I got something for you. And I had certain people that I said that to, and they were like, and they all said the same thing, even my co-host. Yeah, people said that all the time. They never came back. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was like a year later. And I was like, remember that thing I said I had for you? I still kept you in mind. These things people keep with them. So you
Yes.
might not even get something right away,
Yes.
but somebody has you in mind for something. And I came back.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people that I came back to said, he said, you told me this, and and people say that all the time. He said, but you came back. He said, you built a table and you brought people to it.
Mm-hmm.
That thing blew my mind because I didn't even think about. He said, you was like, I have this vision, I had something in mind. I'm not going to say anything right now, but I know I'm going to bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. A year later, I said, remember that thing I said I was going to bring you for? I have something for you. This is what I want you to do.
Mm.
Are you available? He's like, I'll make myself available. He was like, oh my gosh, you're like the first person who said that. And he was like, people say that they don't come back. He was like, for you to, and I found him on social media because I was like, I think I had his card or I gave him my card or something like that. And I don't know what happened, but I found him
Mm-hmm.
because I was just like, that's how impactful a good pitch can be.
Yes.
And I was just like, I have a need, and I know I have that need. It's going to take me a little bit to get this together, but once I get it together, I have my people in place, and I had the whole list of people in place for actually the executive GPS conference. That's what I brought everybody for, and I brought all of these people in the same room. They networked and everything. I don't know. Some of them went other places with each other. Some of them maybe did not or whatever, but I had that vision,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and it took me a while to build that vision, but I still had that vision, and I had those people in mind. When you're in the room or in the vicinity of visionaries and they ask you what you do, and I've seen people get offended by that, like, tell me what you do.
Yes.
You never know where that leads you to. So be prepared to talk about. And I'm going to stop here for
Mm-hmm.
a second and finish. We're going to go to a 30-second commercial after this, and then we're going to come back. I have to
Okay.
remember that. But you never know where something will go for the vision. And the first thing I ask is, do you have a website?
Mm-hmm.
What's your website? Do you have some place that I can go where I can see
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying that you're doing?
Mm.
And everybody who had a place, I went and I looked. I'm like, they're serious about this.
Yes.
all right, I got that sense from them. I'm like, and I see they're on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that people fail to realize, if I bring you in my circle, if I have you speak for me, if I refer someone to you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a reflection of me.
That's right.
And it's I always say this, and it was always a joke, but it was serious at the same time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, this is what's gonna, now don't embarrass me,
Yes.
because now my name is on you.
Yes, right. That's right.
Now people are going to see me and my professionalism
Mm-hmm.
based on how you perform, based on how you show up. And that's what it is for leaders. If they don't think that you're going to represent them well,
Yes.
they're not going to represent you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why you have to have your vision. That's
Yes.
why you have to be able to articulate it. Part of you writing it, yes, is you doing it, but you have to write it, you have to know it, you have to be able to articulate it out where people can see a value in
Yes.
you, where people can send you somewhere. I've sent people places,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in my stead, sometimes not. Sometimes it's like, well, this isn't for me, but Dr. Love can handle this,
Mm-hmm.
and he will blow it out the water.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know, when you come for events, when people are they people have built you up just based off of the strength of what you showed them in 30 seconds, or maybe even a larger conversation they had. We have faith, and we're taking that risk on you.
Mm-hmm.
People don't see it that way. I always took that as a thing when somebody recommended me for something, because I'm like, they're taking a risk on me.
On me. That's right.
And so that's what we have to realize with that. And we are going to go to break for 30 seconds, and we will be right back with more success tips.
We'll be back.
Are you looking to advance your career? Your resume is the single most important factor in advancing your career. It's the best way to show you have what it takes. Introducing Venture Ready LLC. We help professionals see beyond the limits of their current circumstances. We will significantly increase your chances of landing your dream job. We offer the following: career coaching, executive coaching, interview readiness, job search strategies, career transition coaching. Get in touch with us today. Venture Ready LLC, the complete package for any career path you take.
All right, and we are back. So, if you need help in your career and get to that next level, if you need help with your elevator pitch, because again, you're going to need that. Even in your interview, the first thing they ask you is, tell me about yourself.
Tell me about yourself.
They
Yes.
are not asking about your dog. They're not asking about the house you live in or anything like that. They want to know about your career, and they
Mm-hmm.
want to know if you can articulate your value.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need help with that, because a lot of people do, and some things we talked about in the last show is learned, and this is something that you can learn. This will have an impact on whether you get the job, number one, and the salary they pay you, number two, along with the benefits. Because in that, they will get a sense of what your value is and how they value you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to see if he has any.
Yeah. I mean, you know the 30-second pitch, the elevator pitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, there's a whole teaching around anything that's ever said. You can say it in 30 seconds. You know, that took me a little while to just wrap my mind around it, because you want to take a minute, you know what I'm saying? You want to take a minute and a half, 30 seconds. That's it. That's all you get. You know, but as Miss Katrina was saying, you know, that's something you've got to work on. You may have just the opening line of your elevator pitch. You may have just a few words in the middle. It'll take a little critiquing, you know what I'm saying, to be able to say something. What do you do? You know what I'm saying? Just, off the back, what do you do? And you'll work through it. I said this to one lady that asked me. She said, "What do you do?" I said, "I rescue men by empowering women." She said, "I like that." I like that. I said, "Okay." I said, "Great." So I started by the response I started getting. I started really locking in on things that I can add to that, wrap around it, things I can say. You know what I'm saying? But you want to be able to give something that causes people to just kind of like think. And that 30 seconds is so very important. And that was just a good tip, as has been said. Just being on that elevator, and as Miss Katrina was just sharing with you, you impact people. And if you do, someone is saying, "I'm willing to take a chance on you." And that's key. You were saying, "I'm going to judge you based on who you recommended."
Mm-hmm.
If I recommend you, people are going to judge me based on your performance, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that sent you there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I oftentimes say, and this is one of the things that I share in my relationship training. I always say to women, always, always remember to say, "Don't disappoint me." See, don't disappoint me. Okay. I don't want to be disappointed. I don't take disappointment lightly. Don't disappoint me. Listen, don't tell me you can do it. Rather than telling me you can do it and don't do it and disappoint me. No. Okay. So those are the things that you really want to start understanding. Is one, what do you want? What do you want? What do
Mm-hmm.
you want? And do you want it bad enough that you'll go through whatever's necessary to do it? So important.
And of course, I have a plane flying overhead. I don't know if y'all can hear that,
Okay,
but
yeah, we heard. I was wondering what that was. Okay.
I tell you, it's always something. And when you are live, you cannot filter anything out. But somebody is on their way to
Okay.
achieving their vision. That's
That's right.
that's what I
That's
want to
right.
say.
That's
Or
right.
is it right now? They're landing right
Somebody's en route.
now.
Somebody's en route. That's right.
I'm not that far from the Atlanta airport, and every now and again you hear a plane overhead, but I didn't hear any all day. But now, so I'm bringing it in. Somebody's on their way to their vision,
Yes.
um, and everything. And the one thing that you have to do is face your fears. Face your fears. Do not let fear paralyze you and stop you from doing what you need to do.
Great tip.
Okay. Um, if you need to speak in public to do what you need to do or present yourself, you have to face that fear.
Mm.
People's like, "Oh, well, how do I get rid of the fear?" I tell people, every time I stand up in front of people, I'm nervous. Sometimes I'm like shaking. People can't tell, and they never can tell, but I'm like shaking on the inside. But I do it because I face that fear. And it's
Yeah.
like once you do it, you'll find yourself overcoming it, even if it's little by little.
Hmm.
Um, Case in point, one of my fears, I always took somebody with me on business trips because I didn't want to travel by myself.
Hmm.
Little old me, and somebody might try to steal me or something. You know, um,
God forbid.
but that's the fear that's in your mind. They tell you, "Oh, you're a woman," and so I always traveled with somebody, but one year, I couldn't bring anybody with me, and when I took them, I'm the business person. I paid for everything, hotel, food, da, 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 everything for them, and I could not get anybody to go with me, and I was just like, I have to go. I have to go. I organized this event. I have to be there, and um, somebody said to me, "You can go. You know, you got it." I had the plane and everything booked, and I went there. I was nervous the whole time going. And I got there, did what I had to do. Coming back home, I wasn't as nervous. But then after I did, I said, I did it. And
Hmm.
then it led to my next business trip by myself.
I see.
So face those fears.
I see.
Um, it may not be easy because it wasn't easy. The whole time I was there, I'm sitting there, people are watching me, and I have my suitcases and stuff. It's like I can't even go to when I was going. I was like, I can't even go to the bathroom. I got my stuff, my bags here, and everything. But the thing about it is fear is false evidence appearing real. I was trying to think of that acronym. False evidence
Mhm.
appearing real.
Mhm.
Me, I tell people, I said I'm a visual person. I'm a song person, but I'm a movie person too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when I went on my first trip on a plane, the movie Taken was out.
Okay.
And I didn't even travel by myself, but the whole time I'm like, I'm about to go to this European country. And in this movie, they came and snatched these two girls out of the hotel room. So in the back of
Mhm.
my mind, I'm like, oh, and guess what the movie was on the flight? Taken.
Thank you. Wow. Mhm.
And I'm like, why? But we made it there. We were safe.
Yes.
Um, we came back safe. What was it? It was false evidence appearing real.
Mhm.
And if I had let that stop me, I never would have had the trip of my life.
Mhm. Yes.
It was a place I always wanted to go,
Mhm.
and everything like that. Um, it wasn't everything didn't happen perfectly like you necessarily wanted it, but it was some memories that I will have for the rest of my life. And I was just like, so it's the same thing with your business. It's false evidence appearing real. What if I fail? What if I do this? What if I don't? Well, what if you don't do it? Are you
Yes.
going to have that risk?
Mhm.
Or are you going to not have that risk? Have that regret that you didn't do it? Like the worst thing you can do is at the end of your life have all of these regrets because you never took a risk.
Yes.
Um, so people's like, oh, I'm fearless. I don't subscribe to that, um, because courage is actually doing the action in the face of fear. People think that people who do courageous things they don't have any fear, but you're doing it in spite of
In spite of that,
that
that's
fear.
the key. That's the key.
Um, we're almost at the top of the hour already. Number 8 is to me a very important one, and as there are others here, we might do a part 2 next week.
Okay.
Is take action. You can't do anything with a vision if you don't take action.
Yes. Mhm.
Faith without works is dead.
Mhm.
So you can have all the faith in the world, you can have all the vision. I have people to the day who are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be an author. I have the book written," and I'm like, "Okay, when are you gonna publish?" Oh, one day. That book could be the thing that helps millions of people,
Mhm.
and it's sitting on somebody's shelf because they refuse to take action, possibly because of fear that it's not going to do well. And I've heard people say, well, people don't want to hear what I have to say. Well, take it out. One person read that book and is changed by that book. Guess what? You made the
Somebody
impact.
somebody wants to hear us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And only you can tell that story because it's your story.
Mhm.
So take that risk, take action, because you never know where that will take you.
Mm-hmm.
Take that action. Um, because the world is full of great ideas, but success only comes through action. The person that you thought was an overnight success, if they had never taken the action to do what they did, you would never know who they are. The people that are household names right now took action.
Yes.
The people who are regional names took action. The people who are community names took action on the idea that they had, the vision that they had. So just do that. The easiest way to get started is to stop talking about I'm going to do this one day and actually start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I went to start my business, because I was one to I'm guilty as everyone else who have been in that situation where I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Nobody wants, me. What? No. When I decided and I made up my mind, this is for me. I blew my brother away. He was a serial entrepreneur, always had a business, had some that were successes, had some that was not. One thing my brother does is he will take a risk for something that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept saying, start a business. You need to start a business. You're too smart to work for somebody else. You need to start a business. I'm like, nah. Well, I went to him one day and I said, I want to start a business. And he was like, oh, okay, well, you're going to need to do this. I said, I already did all of that. And I said, and I'm already, I already did this. And I told him, I said, I did this, I did that, he was like, wow. He was like, first of all, he said, well, it's about time. But he was just like, wow, you really want to do this? Because I went in and I took action. I've been in business my entire career, degrees in business and everything. And by the time I came to him and said, I'm starting a business in this time, I had all of the foundational things set up, the insurance, everything. And he was like, well, I don't have anything to say to you, so good luck.
Go at it. Go for it.
But it was just the action steps. If you wrote that book and it's sitting on a shelf, take action. If you have an idea, I have an idea for a book. Okay, when are you going to start typing it?
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to put pen to paper? Now you have the book, you have the manuscript. When are you going to a publisher? When are you going to self-publish?
Mm-hmm.
What actions are you taking to make sure that your dream becomes a reality? Any thoughts on that?
Oh, that's such a good tip, and I know we're out of time, but those two things you shared those are just take home tips. Face your fears and take action. That's some of the best advice you can ever get. That's some of the best advice you could ever give. Face your fears. Do it anyhow and take action. You won't go wrong.
You won't. It's just that simple. And again, if you need help developing out your business idea, you have a coach right here with 20 years of business experience
Mm-hmm.
to help you get where you need to be. Reach out to me, info@ventureready.net or 888-712-4956. And we do thank you for joining us for this show. And we will see you next week. Toodles.
Now.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a guest on the show, contact us via email info@ventureready.net. Thank you again and